estimators are very much in the hinterland. So this number in India actually could be even more than 20% because China, most of the development in the coast, so logistics is not, I mean, it's an issue but not that big an issue. While in India, the industrialization is well distributed across the hinterland. So this could give numbers which are even bigger than, some of the estimates are 13%, but if you include the international shipping freight also, it comes to almost 18%. And you can see in EU, the third-party logistics provider are 35%, while in USA it is 57%. Now, which is typically, like, there are so many steel plants, power plants, and if logistics companies were very big, I mean, a lot of these plants could have contracted out to developers, port companies, railway companies. In Europe, companies own several ports. It's just not one. I mean, there are some 10 ports a company may be owning in UK. So in India, we feel similar kind of things will happen in terms of the ownership patterns, and people will get more and more specialized. Yeah. And okay, this has not come well. This is India's growth cycle in terms of how the markets will be developing. Increasingly, we will have a third-party logistics provider. India is less than 10%. China is 20%, and Singapore is almost close to 90% third-party. And we feel a lot of it will happen in India also.
Yeah. What do you see year-on-year growth?
Come back to the first slide. See, okay, second and third. Next one. No, next one. Okay, let's stay here. See, if you look at the industry as a whole, this is growing by almost 2% more than the GDP. So if GDP is expected to grow by 9 to 10%, it can grow at 12 to 13%. Now, but this is the industry. But if you look at the organized logistics industry, this could grow much faster. See, it's becoming 12 times in 10 years, whereby this will be equal to a growth rate of close to 12 times in 10 years, almost 30% growth rate which is there. But if you look at even listed companies within that, then the growth rate is even faster. And if you come to the value, 50 times value can be created. From $8 billion, we can become $400 billion. So, you know, each of these parameters, corporate companies can grow far ahead than the market. Just by simple organizing the industry itself, the growth could come for another 10 years in a very big way. So, let's come.
What do you see as a saving? What do you see as a saving? India's biggest problem is the transaction time and cost is one of the highest in the world.
Correct.
Once it is organized sector, then it will naturally benefit the end user before it benefits anybody else.
Right.
What do you see in terms of saving? For example, not in absolute terms, but in a percentage. What will be the once it becomes organized sector?
Also, can you define what is organized sector? Benefits to the end user.
Yeah.
It should come down at the cost of GDP.
Okay, let me tell you. See, when we say organized, we in fact discuss this. Like transport, road transport is one of those areas which is, they say, is absolutely. So normally there are individual owners. He may be having 2 trucks, he may be having 10 trucks, and he's operating, in a particular route and with particular shippers. And it's not a corporate, it's not a company. He is like, many times the owner himself is driving the truck and he is working with the drivers, and it's like something like, you look at the shops which we have, retail. I mean, when you say organized retail, at least if you have 10 shops under the common brand name, I will call it a organized sector. But if you have only maybe just a owner and he's coming to the shop, maybe having 1 shop, 2 shops, he's not doing a purchase in a effective manner. He doesn't have managers. He's literally hands-on worker. So in logistics, most of the companies, especially in the roadside, warehousing side, they are more like hands-on. They are not able to do a collective bargaining with the suppliers of various things. They can't raise capital from the bank that easily. So it's very fragmented. Now, the road transport, one of the basic issues are technology issues. If they have to buy Volvos, they buy because they have no technique to go to the bank. They can't look at the development side of the whole thing. So their growth rates get limited. I mean, they will grow by the industry growth rate. Maybe over 5 years they'll have another truck. They'll put another thing. I've been working with many people. They supply cabs to us, and in Bombay you don't find a cab company. I mean, they can have thousands of cabs, but there are no cab company. They are all individual owners. Like a cab driver, he works that way. So he cannot maintain his car properly. Maximum cars a cab driver will have is 4, and working with maybe some of the. So that's what I call.
When you organize it, as Nikhil said, will it drop the cost to somebody? If it doesn't, there is no reason for it to be organized, quote unquote.
Okay. See, organization obviously brings down the cost because you are doing common purchases, you are having a management which is much more effective. Organization means the cost has to come down. Obviously, that is what it is.
Better maintenance facilities, they can develop.
Anything which you organize well, obviously the cost comes down. But please appreciate is many times the way the technology is changing. It's just not the issue of cost. It's also issue of like my daughters love to go to any of the malls, because it's not that it is cheaper there. It's much more organized. It's much better. India, let me tell you, the trade could become. We are $200 billion in terms of trade. To export around 130 and export around 120 and import around 130 or 40. So around 250 to 60 billion dollar. While in case of China, it is around 10 times more than that. The reason is, or in US it is much more. Germany, because they have facilities. So if the logistics providers are there, a lot of people will go and start exporting. India's total GDP export ratio is 20-25%, which is fairly low. So once the facilities come, once the logistics provider come, then a lot of things from India will get exported and things will start getting imported also. So its organization does not really always cut costs, which is obviously the process which is there, but it also enables growth in a indirect ways or which are different.
No, just looking at the point you're trying to make that the industry is growing. The question is whether the industry is not being counted right now. See, for example, you could have a large, just because it is coming into the market cap doesn't mean industry has grown. It is always there.
Fair enough.
Percentage of GDP is just getting listed.
In fact, I was warning itself, we were saying if India is around $750, $1 trillion, 10% is logistics, so $100 billion should be anyway the value of the industry which is already there on the thing. But the fact is, see, for us, the opportunity is, many of us, we can help in organizing it. So that really we can bring in that aspect, which is very, very fragmented. So that's where the opportunity is. One is the industry growth rate, but the organization growth rate could be much faster than the industry growth rate.
But for US, if it is 10% of GDP, logistics cost, and if we were to go to that level of efficiency, then our at 2016, the logistics cost should be not more than $200 billion. At the end of the day, logistics is a cost on the economy. It's not a.
I'll tell you what happens. See, there are phases. Going forward, we have compared this with China. China, the total logistics is around 20% of the GDP, while in US it is 10%. US, the entire logistics infrastructure in terms of rails, in terms of highways, it all came much in advance and much before 50s and 40s, and that is the time they invested. And today with IT and supply chain solutions, they are able to bring down the cost substantially. While in case of China, it's just the costs are very high because first is the infrastructure has to be available, and operating the infrastructure itself is building the infrastructure and operating it. And so we have seen the logistics cost actually increase as one develops the economy and it grows faster. But over a long period of time, which China, the 20% may come to a level of maybe 15%, 13%, or maybe 10% over 30 years cycle. In India, if it is around 15, 17%, it could increase, it will increase as more and more infrastructure comes into the picture. And over a period of time, again a 30, 40 year cycle, see, our per capita GDP is not becoming equal to